Oh, it's Mr. McFeely.
I have seen the future, and he was wearing number 5, and I ain't talking about Robbie Grimsley, folks.
Took out the muffins, took out the trail mix, took out the cookies. They stole the monster cookies.
Wow, that's awesome. That is so awesome. Let's do some broadcasting.
Yeah, we will with our guy. Mike McFeely joins us from the Forum of Fargo Morning, columnist there each and every Tuesday at 9:35, so we're a little late today. Apologize on that. Ready to lead the brigade to Gloria Navarez's office in the Mountain West is in Las Vegas, correct?
I have a quick story before we get into that. Okay, so I live in North Moorhead.
Yes.
Okay, I come across the old toll bridge
Yeah.
on 12th Avenue and then turn south on 2nd Street to get to WDAY to come and do your program each Tuesday. So I'm at the intersection of 12th Avenue and 2nd Street. It's a 4-way stop. Key part of the story. 4-way stop.
Oh, boy.
I come to a stop at my stop sign. I'm going to turn left. I look to my left. There's a man on a bike, a bike, riding his bicycle, looking at his phone,
Oh, boy.
tapping his phone
no.
with no hands on the handlebars.
Okay.
I go, well, it's a 4-way stop. Okay. I start to pull out in the intersection.
Yeah.
Joe Bicycle Guy here goes right through the stop sign, doesn't stop tapping on his phone until he notices me pulling out, and I can slam on the brakes. He looks at me.
Oh, you got the,
he looks at me.
You got the stink eye?
He looks at me and gives me the Dikembe Mutombo.
Oh. Yeah.
That's how my day
That's
started.
so you got off to a rip-roaring start, huh?
Yeah. Yep.
Man, it's always somebody on a bike, huh? Was
Yeah.
Kolpak that one time?
Yeah,
on a
Kolpak
bike?
down the ditch with Kolpak riding by me with his pack of thugs up in North Moorhead.
Well,
So that's
I'm sorry that happened.
So
on
the
the way
T-shirt
here.
I'm wearing today, I don't know if Eric can zoom
You
in
go.
on
We
this.
got it. We got it. All right.
This is why I wear T-shirts like this.
For the podcast listeners, it says, "I'm surrounded by idiots." That's what it says. So
Yes.
try not to take too offense to that.
So anyway,
yeah.
you're talking
Well,
about
I
Gloria
apologize-
Navarez.
I apologize.
You had a
got
great
up to
lead-in
yeah,
for
I did,
me.
Yeah, it's all right. But yeah, I didn't know you had.
I got
you had
stories.
incidents when you get to work.
I got
man.
stories.
So,
I can't say on the air what I mouth.
I think we all can envision when you probably said
2 words. I could say one of them on the air.
something. I imagine.
It'd be you. And that'd be the second word in what I said to the
Oh,
bicyclist who
boy.
gave me the Dikembe Mutombo.
It's awesome. Rest in peace. Yeah. So Bison going to Vegas.
What a
do you
big
think?
deal. What a
Huh?
big deal.
Pretty
That's
cool.
very exciting for North Dakota State. We've talked about this a lot. I've talked about this a lot, that the fan interest in some of these games just isn't what it once was for the Bison, and for various reasons. And so North Dakota State has done a good job the last several years, and a tip of the cap to Matt Larson and Todd Phelps and those guys for trying to do something different and get people engaged in some of these non-conference games. And I think that Matt Larson told you yesterday, he basically said, we're trying to do some things that get the fan base excited and get them, jazzed up about some of these games. And they did that. And kudos to Montana State, Montana, and South Dakota State for all kind of getting together and saying, let's do this and let's showcase FCS football in Vegas. And the top, as Larson said again to you, the top 4 brands in FCS are getting together and doing something.
Linking arms there.
Exciting, which maybe someday they'll all end up in the same conference together. Not in FCS?
Yeah, that'd be nice. Yeah. I think it's interesting, the attendance-wise, we're going to talk about, because we hammered that a couple years ago. Once we found out the numbers were not going to be anywhere close to what we thought at U.S. Bank Stadium.
Yes.
And there were myriad of reasons on that. I think opponent had a lot to go into that as well. We were visiting a break in Eastern Washington.
Had a lot of different things going on.
Didn't have some buzz there.
The location had something to do with it, that it was in Minneapolis.
I think this is different, and I think we could have a distinct amount of fans come to this game.
I threw out in my column yesterday that I wrote the number 50,000.
Yeah.
That might be a lot, but I mean, you were in Frisco last January and saw
Montana State.
There was way more Montana State fans in Frisco last year. Now, there's reasons for that as well. that they were the team of destiny.
Their all-time team. Yep.
Tommy Millott, and they were 1,001% certain that they were going to win that game and that they were going to beat their hated rival.
Correct.
And they were going to win their first championship in 40 years. And none of that came to pass. But Montana State has a great following. That is a program that continues to be on the grow.
Yeah, the growing was the word I was going to use.
I mean, you talk about schools that would be perfectly fit for the Mountain West Conference.
Hello.
And geography-wise, I hate to even say this, but it'd be even better than
geography-wise,
it'd be better than North Dakota State.
Yep.
And
Montana
they've got all the things going out in Bozeman that you need to make that move up. And I got to be nice if NDSU and Montana State got an invite, but that's a whole different deal. But no, it's fantastic. I was excited. I had kind of gotten wind of this a few days prior to it happening. Didn't know it was for sure. And so kind of went, that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
And then it turned out to be the deal yesterday.
I think, I said 40, if you get 20 from each, that's, in a 65,000 seat stadium, I know there'll still be a lot of empty seats. That's 40,000 for an FCS regular season game is pretty damn good.
That's almost like SWAC-like. Because there are FCS schools that regularly draw more than 30,000.
Yep.
And all of them are HBCUs.
Yes.
But Montana State does, I think they've been getting around 20.
Yes. For their home games.
Their official capacity is only 17, but it seats more than that.
Yes.
And for that, last time I was out there was for the Bozeman block game.
Yep.
And that place was packed.
I would tell you, look at week 2 when the Jackrabbits go there. It's going to be a night game in Bozeman. That's going to be crazy. And it's going to be that's what they want. That's ESPN's tapping into that. Say these are the top schools. But you look at the 4 teams, and ESPN doesn't want a 65,000 seat stadium with 12,000 people or 5,000 people in it. Like, by the way, UTEP and Northern Illinois would get if they played. They have about 6,000 people there. You couldn't help yourself on that yesterday. I laughed when I read that. I'm like, boy, there's the 2 newest Mountain West members, UTEP and Northern Illinois.
There in the ribs.
Just getting blindsided
Mountain
there.
West, pin-headed, dough-headed, egg-headed, arrogant presidents of the Mountain West schools. But anyway, no, it's a good deal. It's a good deal for NDSU. It's a good deal for the fans.
Yeah.
And frankly, I think it's more accessible to more fans than Charleston or Nashville this year will be. I know that there's going to be a good number of fans going down there, but
what's your number on that for the Nashville game? I've had people ask me
a few thousand.
Yeah,
I think it's not going to be like 10,000.
That seems astronomical.
But Vegas is.
Yeah, that's different.
There's a lot of ways to get to Vegas for less than $200.
And it's a direct flight out of Fargo now too.
Yes, and they're going to add flights, I'm sure. And there's a lot of, as you talked with Matt about, there's a lot of alums in Phoenix.
Yep.
And so I don't think it's a very long drive from there. And so it'll be good. It'll be very exciting.
Yep.
And I don't know about the Bozeman. I'm assuming they have direct flights from Bozeman to Vegas. And so I hope there's 50,000 people there.
Awesome.
That'd be just great. That'd be just really cool.
Let's break. We come back. We'll visit on project that Mike's been working on for the better part of 2 months, debuted over the weekend and been heating up on the internet. We'll talk about that when we wrap up hour 1 of Hot Mike on a Tuesday. Back after this. All right. Welcome back, everybody. Justin Sell, South Dakota State AD, going to join us here in about 20 minutes' time. Back with Mike. First off, salute to you on doing the Bison 75. That was really cool. I know you had talked to me about it 2.5 months ago when you were percolating the idea. You talked to everybody. You talked to Craig Bohl. You talked to Chris Kleiman. You talked to Matt Entz. You talked to Gene Taylor. Tyler Roll gave you about 100 games to pare down.
He gave me 20, but he spent a lot of time.
Oh, yes.
I mean, So that's why if people have not seen it, it's still at inforum.com.
Special section.
Go at the very top of the page. But T-Roll, him and his wife were they have a cabin out in Becker County, Minnesota. Obviously, he lived here in West Fargo and Fargo for decades. now he's with the Detroit Lions. So he and his wife took some time off in June or July.
Pretty much the only time they have off
Right.
in the NFL.
And then he and his wife drove from Becker County back to Detroit. And so they just had all kinds of time. and Tyler,
I'm sure Mary loved that.
Yeah. Tyler's going, I'm driving, and she's on her phone. I'm going, hey, look up the game from 2000. He's like, oh, my goodness gracious. So he said, I had fun with it. I don't know if she did, but I had fun with it.
So the feedback to picking the Gopher Bison 07 game was what? What did you get?
We ran a poll on the website, and not many people agree with me.
What was
Kansas
the
State?
Really?
Kansas
Okay,
State
that was my pick of the top
by a couple of lengths over Iowa.
Iowa's second.
Yep, and then the Gophers, and then Georgia Southern was actually Georgia Southern 2012
2012
was
a lot
really
of fondness for that game.
Yes,
Yeah.
and so, but again, it's all. My whole point with a lot of this was by picking the NDSU Gophers game as the most impactful, memorable top game.
Again, it's not best game.
Right.
It's all those
right.
qualifiers.
It's not the closest, most exciting game. It's the game that had the most impact and the most, just as I said, what has made NDSU football into what NDSU football is today. No doubt that Kansas State and Iowa played a large role, and Georgia Southern played a large role in that. But I picked the Gophers game because at the time, in the context of where the Bison program was at that time, that was a massive victory.
Yep.
And I was around for it. You were around for it.
Yep.
I know that a lot of fans weren't as into it then as they are now, but that was a huge deal.
They got on ESPN for the first time. They're on the old ESPN college football highlight show that night, and that was a title roll running down the sideline.
Yes.
I remember
that
I was calling Stace like the Bison are on ESPN
you
tonight.
You can still find those highlights on YouTube. If you Google like ESPN, I Googled ESPN Sports Center Bison 2007, and Thor Brown caught a touchdown pass.
That had never happened before.
The hammer. Thor Brown drops the hammer on the Gophers and all that.
Yep.
But it also, Polasek, Kleiman, obviously those guys had a fondness for, the Iowa game. It was just a huge victory for NDSU football. And also the Kansas State game was just, legendary and just the way the drive, the 18-play, 9-minute drive that ended with Jensen, backing into the end zone. And I get it. I get what a big deal that was. But, when Craig Bohl, the chairman of the board and the architect of the whole thing, along with Gene Taylor and Joe Chapman, when he says, that kind of changed the way that everybody looked at us, and even maybe how we looked at ourselves at the time. Yep. And that, Joe Chapman called me, 10 days later and said, congratulations. And Craig said, what for? And he said, applications to NDSU are up 28%. Following the Gophers game because people discovered North Dakota State.
Wow.
He said, and Craig said it changed the university.
Yep.
And the way people looked at us. And so that when Craig Bohl says that, and Gene Taylor said, I don't know if it's number one or not, but if you want to talk about it, how one game changes the perception and the direction of an entire athletic program and football program, he said that's the game that did it for us.
You had another one on there that I don't know if was initially on your list because we did a podcast on it, which is fun as well. The Ball State game was it was on there, but it was higher than you thought.
Ball State was on my list originally. I originally had a top 100, and it just turned out that so many of the games, like past 85, they were just a bunch of Dakota Marker games that were not very memorable, that were just kind of stacked, 93 to 98. It's like, well, okay, so I just cut those out, went with 75. But the Ball State game was on there, but it was pretty far down the list. And after talking with Tyler Roll and, again, Craig Bohl and those, they said, well, again, if you think about it, at the time, that was huge. Yep. And I went back and looked it up in our archives, and indeed, there was a photo of Craig Bohl getting a Gatorade bath.
Yeah, I forgot
from his players. Yeah. and I talked to Brian Shawn, the former voice of the Bison on television, who's covered him for years. And he said, well, he was at Channel 11 at the time. He said, we sent a camera crew out to the airport after that game because it was such a big deal that that they beat Ball State. You know? And so I went, and I was there, and I went back and looked what I wrote.
Yeah.
And shockingly, I asked, and this is the God's honest truth.
This is awesome.
This is the God's honest truth. I was talking to Gene Taylor on the field in Muncie, Indiana, and I asked him, so does this mean you guys should go FBS?
You've been at years ahead of your time, man.
I didn't realize at the time, but I was years ahead of my time.
That's 20 years ago.
And I kind of forgot about it in the
that's
meantime.
so good. That's
And
really
Gene's
good.
answer was, whoa, hey, whoa. Let's just pump the brakes here, Hoss. Let's enjoy this victory and see where we go from here. And they went pretty good places.
Pretty
from
good.
There. Yep.
It's outstanding. And shout out to you, to Rob Beer, for making it happen digitally wise. You can go and that was my favorite part, was to click on it to see the newspaper headline from that particular day with the photo.
If you have a chance to look at the e-edition, look at the design team and Forum Communications did a great job.
Cool. It's really neat.
Really cool.
Yep.
Very quick, before we go,
one
last thing. Congratulations to Jack Strand, the quarterback at Minnesota State Moorhead. He was listed among the top 20 draft-eligible quarterbacks on the Athletics website today by Dane Brugler, my guy,
your guy,
who does the NFL draft stuff, who's pretty level-headed and pretty accurate.
He called Cam Miller being drafted last year.
Yep. And so congratulations to a Dragon, the most noteworthy quarterback. Not that Cole Payton doesn't, if he has a big year, look out. But Jack Strand is listed among the top 20 quarterbacks, number 17 among the draft, which probably will translate into a preferred free agent. Yep.
It also helps he throws the ball 70 times a game, so there's an opportunity.
Well, but there's more to it than that.
No, I know,
but, I mean,
he's good. He's really good.
6'5", 240.
He's a big dude. He can heave it. Yeah.
Yep.
Dragons will be fun to watch this year. Good stuff there. Thanks for coming by, bud.
Yep.
Good job as
Thank
always.
you.
Mike McFeely joining us each and every Tuesday at 9:35. Shout out to that bicyclist. Got in the way. We'll take a break.
I'm Dikembe you right now.
Justin Sell will join us. South Dakota State AD on the Jacks going to Vegas as well. Coming up, we start hour 2 right after this.